This snippet is for you. Yes, you, just you. It's just you and me. So pay attention, babe. It's a good one. Welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Women Over 40, where we elevate our mindset and trade hangovers for higher consciousness. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I'm thrilled to be with you on a Monday, kicking off another week in Snippet Land. And today, I'm just so excited. I'm going to talk to you about the adventure of life. The adventure of life. But before I start, I want to make really clear that this snippet is for you. I am speaking to an individual woman. I've had people say to me, "How do you talk? Like, aren't you nervous getting all those thousands of people hearing you?" And my answer to that is I simply turn on the microphone and imagine I'm speaking to one woman. And I am, my dear. It's you. You are that one woman that I'm speaking to. So please do pay attention because this message is for you. If you receive it with an open heart and an open mind, the adventure of life can truly begin. What do I mean by the adventure of life? Well, I read that line somewhere about 2 years ago. I can't remember the first part of it. The truth is, I could look it up if I wanted to, but that wasn't the focus of the snippet, so I intentionally did not. But here's the gist of it. It was the idea of taking control of your thoughts and being willing to undertake a process of growth, personal growth over time. And that willingness, if I had that willingness, then the adventure of life began. If you're willing to do what I'm going to tell you about, the adventure of life for you will begin today. But I want to stop and ask you first, what do you think of when I say the adventure of life? Does your life feel like an adventure? Are you going, "Oh my God, no. It feels like a nightmare, but not an adventure." Maybe not a nightmare, maybe just a difficult, I don't know even the word, but just, a story, a journey that I'm on that's not particularly thrilling, that has its ups and downs, but I wouldn't exactly call it an adventure, Becca. Like, let's not exaggerate here. But I mean it, gals. Life truly can be, and not only can be, but should be an adventure. We are given a soul, a heart, a mind, an imagination. We are given tools that are so powerful, we will never in 2,500 lifetimes discover the amount of power that we carry. We will never be able to use the amount of power we've been given. We underestimate ourselves so profoundly, we can't even really describe it. And I'm not saying that from up above and some mountaintop where I've personally realized all that's possible. Not at all. I just believe with all my heart and soul that anything is freaking possible with the tools that I've been given. Anything is possible. And when you start looking at life that way, it becomes an adventure. And I want you to know how drastically different this attitude is from the one I had in 2018, 19, 20. Around 21, it started changing for me. My sobriety started at the end of 18. Around 2021, life started shifting from a drudgery and fear and resentment and difficulty and trying to escape my past and trying to get through the day and struggle, struggle, struggle. My life shifted from that to an adventure. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that and what it feels like and why I think it's honestly, I think it's the only way to live your life. You've been given a life. Why let it be drudgery? Why let it be run of the mill? Why drag it into mediocrity? Nobody wants a mediocre life. I know you don't. I know you don't. You wouldn't be hearing my voice. And yet we get trapped, and that's where we end up, living in mediocrity. Just another one of the herd. I said it. I know, right? Nobody wants to be just another one of the herd, another number, whatever metaphor you want to use. But here's the thing, my dear, and remember, I'm talking to you individually. When I say that your life can be an adventure, I do not mean that you're going to pack a bag and go somewhere. Although you might, that's up to you, but that's not what I'm talking about. I do not mean that you're gonna change drastically, really, anything in your external world, your relationships, where you live, what you do for a living, none of that. As I say, you might choose to make changes, but that is not what I mean by an adventure. When I say the adventure of life, I'm talking about an internal journey that is mind-blowing. I am talking about an internal journey that is hard to describe how exciting and rewarding it can be. And it's a journey that is both mental and emotional. It is both thoughts and feelings. And it is a journey that is gentle, consistent, and long term. I am not talking here about a transformation in the moment. I'm not talking here about hearing this snippet and when it's over, bam, you're on an adventure, although it certainly can begin. I want you to know something about this adventure. Unless somebody tells you and you believe them, like I am right now, and like hopefully you are believing me, unless you have that, this journey doesn't feel like an adventure in the beginning. It feels scary, it feels difficult, we deal with doubt, we deal with fear. And of course, I am talking about putting down alcohol, but that is less than 1% of what I'm talking about here. It's just necessary that the alcohol will fall by the wayside as you decide to go on this adventure. Now, which one comes first? Frankly, alcohol is not always the first thing to go for women who come on this adventure. Putting down the bottle is a little messy journey that I talk about a lot. And when I call it messy, all I mean by that is very few of us decide one day we're going to quit and we quit and it's done. Nice clean break and it's all over. Very few. It's messy. We quit, we start again, we fail, we try again, we try again, we fail, we start again, we fail. But as long as we are being intentional about the journey and guided by someone who's gone before us, because if you try this alone, you're going to just stay in that messy place I just described. You've already been doing that, and there's no adventure there. That is just try and fail, try and fail, try and fail over and over and over. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an intentional journey guided by someone who's been there and that begins with quiet intention, a future vision of yourself, and then a daily practice that slowly, slowly transforms you from the inside out. The most important thing to know about this adventure is the fact that your life is simply a reflection of your thoughts. James Allen, who wrote the book As a Man Thinketh, and that, by the way, is a book that we studied here on the Snippets earlier this year. James Allen, the author of that book, said, circumstances grow out of thoughts. 5 little words. Circumstances grow out of thoughts. That's James Allen. Well, many, many, many other thinkers and writers of our time and before our time have said the same thing. There's no mystery around that. There's no discussion around it. It's not a maybe, it's a fact. Circumstances grow out of your thoughts. Your life, in other words, is a result, a direct result of the thoughts you're thinking and the feelings you're feeling along with those thoughts. And this adventure, therefore, has to be internal because we cannot change our circumstances without changing our thoughts. Why? Because the circumstances of our lives grow out of our thoughts. Do you see the relationship? It's impossible to do it the other way. It's impossible. And this is why, by the way, you failed so many times because you're trying to make an external change without changing internally. And that can't be done. Always, 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 you will default back to where you were. If you're wondering why you just can't seem to get going, this is the reason. We're trying to make external changes without internal shifts. The truth of the matter is, gals, this adventure does not require you to make any external changes with intention. You do not sit down and say, okay, here's what I'm going to change in my life. I'm going to get up earlier. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to eat this. I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to go to the gym at this time. I'm going to set up this whole big new life, nice, clean, beautiful, healthy life that I'm going to set up, and I'm going to start living it starting at 8 a.m. on the 4th or the 3rd or the Monday or next month or whenever. That's not how we do it, and that's why your New Year's resolutions have always failed, why all attempts in the past that you've tried and failed. All of them were external attempts. We don't do any of that. We simply start shifting the inside and we let the external take care of itself. You will find yourself making external changes naturally without strain or stress, slowly but surely as you go on this internal adventure. And I want you to know something else, gals. This is not a short term journey. It is a journey, an adventure for the rest of your life. But I want you to know it is so exciting. And yet, it has moments of dullness, of almost emptiness where you think nothing's happening. What's going on? I thought I was doing something here. Things don't feel like they're moving. Why is it? That will happen. And that's another reason why we don't do this alone. The journey, the adventure that I'm talking about is quiet and consistent, and we need to be supported because otherwise we simply will not persist through the moments when things feel like they're empty. The journey is one in the beginning, especially, and by the beginning, I mean the first several months, maybe even the first year, where we're not really sure what the hell we're doing. And when things seem quiet, doubt screams at us. Doubt becomes so loud and fear steps in with it that we're done. We give up. We're finished. That's why you've tried so hard to change and haven't been able to. You're trying to change things externally. And if you are doing internal work, you're trying to do it alone, and there's no one there to help you through those silent moments. I am so excited because I'm at a point in my life where my job, my actual new job, I used to be an English professor. Now I do this podcast, which is great fun. I mentor women, both in groups and one on one. I get to create content and give it out to you and to help you on your journey. It's all so much fun. That is part of my job if I have a job today. But the main part of my job is growing because I don't bring to you information that I've heard about. I bring to you experience. And I won't even talk about something here on the show that I haven't experienced or tried myself. That's why, for example, I'm never going to try and tell you how to control your drinking because I don't know how to do it. I never was able to do it myself. And so I'm certainly not going to try and teach you that. So my journey is one of privilege. I get to help you. But that means a responsibility that I have taken on, both for you and for me, a promise that I would continue to grow so that I could continue to support you. When I stop growing, I'm going to stop turning on this microphone. So I can speak to you about this journey. And the beginning of it is by far and away the most difficult. And that's why we need support in those first months. But the most important thing to know, my dear, is that this journey is internal. It's about the way you're using your mind and the emotions that you're creating along with the thoughts that you're thinking, the way those emotions and thoughts reflect out into your world. They are magnetic. They bring back to you exactly the same wavelength that you're sending out. That's why we start change from the inside and we start seeing reflected on the outside. But it takes time. And if we're not willing to be patient and consistent and undertake a faithful, systematic cultivation of patience and persistence, then we'll never get there. We'll never actually be able to see that we are on an adventure because in the beginning, it doesn't feel like adventure. It feels like struggle. It feels like, this is hard. I'm not used to this because we aren't used to controlling our thoughts and emotions. We're used to just being jerked around by them. They come up, an emotion or a thought comes up, and there we are. We are stuck with it. But this journey, this adventure, puts us in the driver's seat of our thoughts and emotions. Oh my God, though, I want you to know, my dear, how incredibly exciting it is. For me, the beginning was unbelievably hard. I wasn't supported. That's mainly why. Doesn't have to be as hard as it was for me. If we're properly supported, the beginning is not that difficult because we have the voice of someone else reminding us what we're doing, guiding us along. We don't lose heart. We keep on going. And then something starts to shift. It no longer becomes an effort, but somewhere along the line, it shifts into something lighter, something smoother, something less effort is involved. Our internal voice, our subconscious, our unconscious, call it what you will, starts to take over. And then it's no longer this grinding effort to control thoughts that we've allowed to run wild for decades. We start getting a handle on those thoughts until the subconscious gets on board with us and takes over. And once that happens, the true adventure begins. And you can feel it. It starts to happen at a certain point. It's different for everybody, depending on your journey. But once it does, you can start to feel the shift and you can feel like you're supported from the inside out. But until that starts to happen, we need support. Gals, I gotta say that I was really excited to share this one with you, but I was also a little nervous turning on the microphone, and that never happens. Honestly, I'm never nervous here in Snippet Land, but I wanted so bad to get this message across just perfectly. And that's another thing I never do. I never think, "Oh my god, every snippet must be perfect." I don't. I just turn on the mic. I talk to you from the heart. But this message was so important. I'm like, "Becca, I want to tell my gals this. I got to find a way to say it just right." So it's been like, "Oh, come on, let's do this." But the truth is, it came from my heart and it was aimed directly at yours. And if you were meant to hear it, those of you out there who were meant to hear it will catch it. Others will not. When I say I'm talking to you, my dear, if this snippet has touched your heart, then you were meant to hear it today. The truth is that we can hear things and not even hear them. If we're not ready for a truth, we won't hear it or we won't understand it. It'll just seem like something different to us. But if this has touched something inside of you, then the message has been received. You were meant to hear it today. And here's something else I want you to hear. I have several women that I mentor one-on-one. What a privilege. And one of them, her name is Barb. She lives in North Carolina. Hello, Barb. She wanted me to give you a message. She wrote this message specifically for the gals in Snippet Land. And here's what she says. The bottom line is that I had to make the changes and do the internal work. And I have felt supported through it all. I have not been able to do this on my own. I needed a supportive and knowledgeable coach who could relate to my struggles. Becca is that special coach. Barb and I have been working together for, I think coming up on 5 or 6 months. And to stand beside her and with her through the adventure and turn her life from one of struggle and difficult emotions to an adventure, right? It's an adventure. And Barb is in her 7th decade. So she's taking on work after a lifetime of struggle. And to reprogram our minds after decades of living a particular way takes patience and persistence. And it is so much easier with someone else by our side. In fact, as I've already said, I would argue that it's pretty close to impossible to do on our own because the subconscious will just keep dragging us back to the old way of being. So this is exciting stuff. And if you're hearing this and something inside of you is lit up, that this is a great day to go to the show notes and tap the link that I put there. It is a link directly to my personal calendar. You can book a call with me and you and I will have a chat about you beginning your own adventure. You can share some of your story and we can talk about how you can stop being jerked around by thoughts and emotions that create an external world that is far from ideal and even worse than mediocre, actually painful and consistently uncomfortable. Nobody needs to live like that, my dear. And if there's one thing we want to do, we want to stop wasting the precious time that we have here in this life. It's time to take control of your mind and emotions and begin your own personal adventure of life. And I would love to be the one to guide you on that adventure. Tap the link, book that call, and let's have a chat. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.
The modern man is fascinating. He has a standing desk. He takes creatine. He listens to podcasts at 2 times the speed. He owns 3 water bottles and he follows 6 productivity influencers. Then every weekend, he drinks enough alcohol to tranquilize a rhinoceros. If any of this sounds familiar, I'm Shane Raymer, host of That Sober Guy podcast. We talk performance, we talk purpose, we talk leadership, and we talk about building a better life without alcohol. Because the answer isn't another life hack. It's removing the thing that's holding you back. Search That Sober Guy wherever you get your podcasts.